Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/SIBSB. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Until I met my new best friend, all of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voicemail 'cause
Alex, are we rolling? We are rolling. Welcome to another episode of Sorry I've Been So Busy. This is the podcast where we talk to very busy people about what they are busy with. Sometimes we talk to not very busy people about what they pretend to be busy with all day. My name is Matt Goldich, at Matt Goldich on Twitter, MattGoldich. I'm here joined by my co-host, Andrew Goldstein.
At Ange Gold on Twitter, ANGEGOLD.
Good to see you, Andrew.
Likewise.
Very exciting day today. I have a guest we're very excited to talk to for a reason which we'll get into in a minute. But before we do that, we're here at Showbiz Studios. Please check out all their other great podcasts. Go to their webpage, showbrizstudios.com. That's SHOWBRIZ Studios. They got the YouTube page, the Facebook, the Twitter. Check out our Twitter, at Busy Podcast, our Facebook page. And please rate and review us on iTunes. Anything I'm forgetting promotional-wise.
We need those 5-star reviews.
Yes, that's great. And check out, they have a lot of other great podcasts as part of the Showbiz network. So please check that out.
2 pieces of news. We have 2 really exciting podcasts coming up, 2 live shows. The first, Friday, March 9th, at the Stand Comedy Club and Restaurant here in Manhattan. It's our 100th episode, and we're celebrating by doing a live podcast in the club with 2 special guests, Chris DiStefano and Giannis Pappas. They are collectively known as the Bay Ridge Boys. They have a web series called the Bay Ridge Boys, but each individually they're hilarious guys, and we'll have a bunch of special guests and former guests and stuff. So just go to the Stand. I don't know what their website is, but
just go to the website for the Stand.
Google the Stand,
yeah,
and then go to upcoming shows, and you'll find us March 9th. 6 p.m. It's a Friday. It's our 100th episode. Please come out and join us. And then April 8th, we are...
in the afternoon on a Sunday.
In the afternoon at 1 p.m. We are part of the New York Pod Fest.
Yes.
We are doing a live show with the Quiz Daddy himself as our guest, Scott Rogalski. That's going to be a huge show. We're one of many, many really, really great podcasts. We're honored to be part of the New York Pod Fest. So check that out as well. You can see information on that on both of our Twitter feeds and stuff like that.
Yes. So definitely good to get tickets to both of those. So this is a very exciting day. This is the first...
Very exciting month.
Very exciting month. This is the first time we've recorded, Andrew, since the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
It doesn't even sound right.
Yes. Now, let me preface this by saying we're going to try our best to make this a podcast that is accessible to everybody who's not just Eagles fans. Hopefully... If you're a football fan, or if you have a passion or something you're excited about, well, hopefully our passion for this will convey, and you'll be able to identify with it based on whatever you're excited about. But we should talk. We have a guest who we're going to talk about this with in a few minutes too. But before, I mean, it does not, like you said, it does not feel real. I hope people understand how rare this is as a Philadelphia fan in general, and as an Eagles fan specifically.
Yeah, well, the statistics, they won the NFL championship in 1960 before the Super Bowl era.
Yes.
So in our lifetime, let's say late 70s till now, we've seen them in 1 Super Bowl in 2004.
Yeah.
Which they lost to the Patriots.
They played in 1980 when we were both babies.
Yeah, so we don't remember that one.
Right.
And everything in between has been just the most frustrating slog of a sports fandom experience, at least for me.
Oh, yeah.
Even during the really good years with McNabb.
And a lot of close...
I basically hated those teams.
Not to mention a lot of close calls.
Yeah.
A lot of times where we almost made the Super Bowl,
right.
or we, all of our rivals winning the Super Bowl.
A lot of really hard to deal with bridesmaid situations.
A very passionate fan base, and just like one of those things where like the Eagles are always sort of at or near the center of like the NFL conversation, and they never win. And it's just amazing to finally. We watched the game together.
Well, I tweeted or Instagrammed the picture of us after they won, and I said a tradition of excellence. And what that refers to is that you and I watched the Phillies win the World Series.
We did.
Another improbable feat that I thought I'd never see in my lifetime. We watched that in 2008 together, and so we had to reunite again here for the Eagles Super Bowl.
And I think for the last Eagles Super Bowl, I was not with you, and I blame them
That's
losing.
Probably why.
And so we had a small group get together at my house with my brother.
Beautiful house, by the way. Shout out to Robin.
Thank you. And a small group of hardcore Eagles fans.
And Kevin Miller.
Former guest of the pod. And it was one of those things where we literally, the whole game, you'd be nervous anyway, obviously. As an Eagles fan, you would be negative and pessimistic. And then going up against Tom Brady with 2 minutes left, he always wins in that situation. Yeah. So you're equally convinced that...
With 10 minutes left, they go down by one for the first time in the game. And you're like, okay, this is over. Here's where Tom Brady's.
Yes. And it's... so literally we went in about 5 minutes from the span of like, we're going to lose to, oh my God, we won. What just happened?
The whole thing was so improbable.
Yes.
I mean, the season, they rattled off all these wins, and I was like, just dreading doom the whole time. I was like, at some point, something terrible is going to happen. This can't sustain. And then something terrible did happen. Carson Wentz goes down. And then you're like, all right, well, the season's over. This was fun. And then, Nick Foles comes in, doesn't really play that well, but they still kind of eke out some wins. Finish the season, go to the playoffs, and then all of a sudden,
they catch fire.
And that's real. And so the whole thing was so improbable. House money, all these things have been said before. Eagles were playing with house money, and then the game was a roller coaster. I mean,
the game was incredible. Even if
the scoring, and then the Philly special, and then the strip sack. I mean, I let out a shriek on a pitch level that I don't think dogs even heard.
It was pretty incredible, and it was one of those things where it's like, anytime you start to think, oh, this is really dumb. Why do I watch this? This is, sports in general is pointless to get involved in. The football is particularly challenging at this point to be a fan, both for the health reasons and also then all the political stuff that got tied into it this year. And
it was a tough season to be a fan.
It was a tough season to be a fan, and of course, what other season would the Eagles win?
Exactly. And then, it was just so... And then your brother was there, Mitch, who's like the Uberist of sports fans. Yes. He drives an Uber.
Yes, exactly.
He's just
our family
the craziest sports fan.
We play. I have to say, I give myself a lot of credit. I played this perfectly. My other brother got 2 free tickets to the game. He got tickets to the game, and... he asked me, do you want to go? And I said, you should take our dad. And because, first of all, I had other stuff going away on that weekend. It was tough to get away. There were some family obligations. It was going to involve a lot of logistical nightmares. And also, I was just like, karmically, send my dad. He's been an Eagles fan for longer. And also, I watched the 2 games previous on my couch, and they both won, so why change up the thing? And the fact that my other brother was not going to be able to make it, so at least I'd be watching with family and close friends, in a good Eagles environment. And I truly think if I'd gone to the game, we would have lost. So I'm glad.
And I think the collective people that you had over, you have to mention, everybody killed it on the food end.
Oh, yeah.
You guys did house-made cheesesteaks.
We homemade whiz. We made soft pretzels. We did
gluten-free soft pretzels, which were delicious.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Your brother made a buffalo chicken dip, which I'm still dreaming about.
There were some. Your wife made some brownies and some cookies that were great. It was a pretty unbelievable experience, and I guess we shouldn't get too much.
Oh,
more.
You had a tray with a pyramid stack of packages of Crimpets, which
yes. Oh, well, we had been in Philly the week before. We picked up some Crimpets and some Hershey chips and some Wawa rolls.
Nobody bakes a cake as tasty as a tasty cake.
No, nobody does. Yeah. I guess we shouldn't get too much more into the Eagles because we do have our guest coming up, and we're going to continue to talk
more about the Eagles.
Yes, but after this, and also hopefully other things. So.
Yes, he has a very cool job, so we'll talk about that too.
All right, we'll be right back after this. For you, the listeners of Sorry I've Been So Busy, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. You can download any book you want. You could download Jensen Karp's book, Kanye West Owes Me $300, his great memoir about being a white teen rapper. We had Jensen on the podcast to talk about his book, and it was awesome, and he's a super interesting guy, so check that out. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/SIBSB. Again, that's audibletrial.com/SIBSB for your free audiobook. All right, we're back with our guest. Andrew, would you do us the honors of introducing our special guest for today?
I would be honored. Here's the thing. I am a member of, at any given time, 4 to 5 ongoing active text chains.
You're a very cool man.
So I have my camp friends. I have my wrestling friends, also known as the Jew World Order. Shout out to them.
Sure.
I have the Goldich brothers, very esteemed company.
Yeah.
And being friends with Michael Weber, past guest, 2 times over, he has connected me with a certain subset of his college friends who are also rabid Philadelphia sports fans. And so I communicate with this person, our guest, probably more than I do with my wife.
Yeah.
On a daily basis.
Okay.
Probably in the 30 to 40 texts, probably more than that a day. So this person is one of the members of that text chain is here, the vaunted Philly list. He's the co-host of the Lost in America podcast with former guest Turner Sparks. He has a very cool job, which we'll talk about. Mike Kaplan.
Hi.
How are you?
Great to be here. I love the intro.
Do you go by Mike or Michael?
I go by Kaplan.
Kaplan.
Cap in America.
People used to call me Kaplan. Then they got lazy and started calling me Cap. So I don't know. But either one. Or Mike. Michael.
Yeah.
I was my middle
He
name.
was Cap before Kaepernick.
If you go by Cap, you got to kneel.
I got to take. Yeah, forget that. I don't be
He's
controversial.
on his knee.
Do people confuse you? There must be so many Michael and Mike Kaplans, right? Well, there's the comedian Mike Kaplan.
But that's MYQ.
MYQ, which has helped me sometimes when I go see my podcast partner Turner at comedy clubs, and I say Mike Kaplan. They just put me in the comics area. So.
Oh, nice. So that's good.
Then, but yeah, we are on this amazing chain. With you should say Academy Award nominee, Michael Weber. Now
I buried the lead. Oscar nominee.
But I feel the need every time we have a text to just send my wife just like a letter. I just text her something. Because it's got to even out sometimes.
Well, it's so funny when anybody who's in any kind of committed relationship, at some point, if in the evening you're like on your side with your back to that person, feverishly texting. That person is, at some point, even the least jealous person or least curious person is going to be like, who are you texting?
Yeah.
Who are you texting? Especially if you're at a dinner or something.
Yeah, and invariably, every single time, I'm like, Weber's friends.
Yeah.
or my friend Josh Abrams. And it's always about sports.
If you say a girl's name, then they're like, I can't believe that much to say to this girl. But
there was a great.
She has stopped asking.
It was very cliched, but there was a great meme that somebody posted a couple months ago, very fitting, about a guy and a girl in bed, and it was like the girl was like, I wonder what he's thinking. Is he thinking about other women? And the guy was going through all of the playoff scenarios for the week 17 of like if the Bills win and the Titans lose or something. And
this is us.
Yeah.
That's me, or I'm thinking about like in my Madden season, what game plan I want to run next game. But yeah, pretty much.
So this chain that you're on is all Philly sports fans. Isn't there one Sacramento Kings fan?
Here's what happened. Well, that's Turner. But what happened was it started out as an email chain.
Yeah,
that just became, and that was with many. That was your guys' chain of Syracuse people.
There was the email. Yeah, that's the main email chain. Yes. Yeah. And you were added. Weber just added you to it at some point. And I don't know if there was an introduction or you just like CC'd you. Well,
Weber's like I think you would enjoy this.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of like. Sports talk / entertainment industry talk.
I mean, it started. It used to be way more interesting when a lot more single people, a lot of recapping weekend nights,
right.
And then it became sports, and then people got bored of sports.
And then I got sort of phased out of the email chains because it became super overwhelming. It would be like 60, 70 emails a day.
Yeah,
and then Weber siphoned off me, him, Cap. And Jared, their friend Jared, who lives in Austin, God bless him. I'm jealous of him. And now we are just on it's called the Philly list, and it's just a text chain.
Nice.
And occasionally we'll bring the email back, add a few people, but I don't know. It always
every once in a while we'll do an email. We'll throw Turner on there if there's something Sacramento Kings related or like cringeworthy comedy related.
Yeah, but we're like on the right level with the Philly fans. Like some of the other Philly fans I know are. I don't know. I don't know if they're on our level with joke-wise, so we got to keep it tight.
Well, we have that same thing where we have we're able to enjoy it on both a sincere and an ironic level. You have to sort of have that both. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand that you have to be both a hardcore fan and then also understand how ridiculous it is to be as hardcore. That's sort of my...
I've definitely been at dinners where my phone does not stop buzzing because there's a Sixers game on and one of the four is home watching it.
Right? Yeah. And I always assume if there's only a couple texts, I'm really good at ignoring them now. But if there's a lot, I'm like, shit, did Embiid get hurt?
Right.
Something happened.
As the texts increase, you start worrying.
Yes.
That something terrible has happened.
Give us the history of, did you grow up in Philly? What's your Eagles fanhood?
Yeah, well, I was born in South Jersey, and then I moved to Allentown when I was about 4 or 5.
Okay.
So I grew up in Allentown, which Allentown, Pennsylvania there's some giant New York fans, because we used to have both the local games in New York, Philly. So you could choose. Some people are Steeler fans. Some people are Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
Assholes, but
But you had those South Jersey roots.
I had those roots. I went to a summer camp you mentioned where there was a lot. I couldn't really stand anybody, but I couldn't stand the Long Island kids more than the Philly kids. So I really allied with the Philly kids early on, and I always was a Philly fan. So.
Even though the Long Island kids and Allentown both have Billy Joel in common, obviously.
That's the only reason they talk to me. They were like, do you know Billy Joel?
Oh my God, you're from Allentown?
Are they really closing the factories down?
Yeah. That's why I was the hick from Allentown. But yeah, I was going to. You talk about Minnesota, the Super Bowl. I went to I used to go with my dad down to Eagles games on this bus trip that his friend from. I had a friend from high school. He grew up in Easton, Pennsylvania. Who used to organize a bus trip, and it was all drunk. It was I was the only kid on this trip. I don't know why my dad brought me, but it was a bucket, trash cans of beer, in the middle would go pushed around the bus, and
I love it.
It was I formed a lot of
cans in the trash can, or
but it was almost like a cooler. Yeah, you'd have one for trashing it out and one for the.
Okay. Not like
a bachelor party.
Not a liquid, not a trash can full of liquid beer.
No. One for empties.
Yeah, one guy the night before poured 1,100 beers.
I was okay. Yeah.
And I would form my early memories of Philly fans. I remember seeing a Redskin fan getting beaten up in the parking lot and cheering this. And
you learn young.
Yeah, and I remember being at a game. I think it was Marion Campbell, the coach's final game, when they were up 23-0 going to the fourth quarter. The Eagles were, and they blew the game to the Vikings, lost 28-23. That was my first memory of a tournament
that's
loss.
Me watching.
Yeah, Campbell got fired, I think, after the game or soon thereafter.
I came in on Buddy Ryan Black Shoes season.
Okay, yeah, that was probably the next year, Buddy Ryan.
I think, the Black Shoes season, I think, was 2 seasons into Buddy, but that's when I
was never a fashion guy. I don't remember the shoes season.
And you're getting at something which I mean, we'll get to it, but, there's a lot of criticism of Philly fans and Eagles fans nationally.
Yes.
And then there's this reaction to it that is sort of people get mad when you criticize.
The whole stupid Santa Claus thing. I mean, we're Jews. I don't even understand. I know every time I see Santa Claus.
But I would also admit that a large subsection of Eagles fans are just dirtbags. I mean, the booing and the fight. I mean, there's no, I mean, that's part of the,
There's also this, we have a disconnect because we all live in New York, where I don't really know, I'm not in Philly very often.
Sure.
So, whenever I do talk to a person in Philadelphia, they're on another, they do have a lot of the stereotypes of, the WIP caller, we call it, where it's just
it's a great Twitter follow.
Yeah, they always like the backup QB better. They always, hated McNabb, so there are, and then Eagles fans are assholes.
Yeah. But then sorry, go ahead.
I've been qualifying myself since I moved to New York, because when I tell New Yorkers that I'm an Eagles fan, they always their shoulders inch up and they're like, ugh. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not an asshole.
Yeah.
I will be silent during a football game, except, and I'll cheer even when the other team, I'll clap when the other team makes a great play.
If you were out there in the streets after they won in Philly, you would have been one of the guys like lifting the guy in the wheelchair up, doing the nice things.
You would have been cleaning up.
I would have been like,
oh, wait,
I would have kissed a horse, not punched a horse in the face.
Yeah. I would have been cleaning up horse.
No, if I saw those, I saw those guys on the Ritz-Carlton awning, I would have been like, those guys, they need to get down from there. Yeah. They're going to get
sign
hurt.
a waiver, please.
Yeah.
Could you wear a helmet?
So you went to Eagles, because you went to a lot of Eagles games growing up then.
I did go to a lot in the old Vet Stadium. I went to a couple of playoff games. I think I saw the final Rich Cote game. I saw some good games, but I didn't go. As I got older, I haven't been to nearly as many. I used to go to the Sixers games too.
Wow.
Back in the Jerry Stackhouse years.
Sure.
I mean,
but now I'm a bigger
glory days.
Yeah. Now I watch more games than ever, but I don't actually go very often.
Yeah.
Well, you have children.
I do.
So you're home.
How old are your kids?
I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
And 5.5, 3.5. So, and it's very important. And my 5-year-old is my son, Teddy. Shout out. And
he's listening.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's why this run was so perfect. The actual Super Bowl game. Because it was like the first time he's really been into it.
I was going to bring that up because Matt, how old is Graham?
Almost 3, but he's a little. He was excited, but he was
excited, but still not necessarily getting it.
Yeah,
but like you have been telling me, and we talked about it the other night. That he really gets it.
Yeah, and it's like the first couple of years when you have a kid, it's fun to take the pictures. You put them in the jerseys or the shirts. You put it on Facebook or whatever.
Sure.
It's cute. They're into it a little, but they don't know. And you realize how stupid football is when you try to explain the rules to like a 4-year-old.
Yeah,
or your wife.
It doesn't make any sense. It's which is there's like this is worth 6 points. That's worth 1 point.
But they could go for 2.
Yeah. So like basketball, Teddy understood immediately. Like it's way simpler. Last year he was super into the Sixers. I was excited. Joel Embiid, he's his favorite athlete ever. He asked me the other day if Joel Embiid was taller than me. I was like, yes. But football, he never was that into it. It was just hard. And it wasn't until the Vikings game when I was watching that at home because my wife was away.
Right.
And he got so into it, and I was like, I guess I'm going to watch Super Bowl.
And he knows what the Philly special is.
That was the moment, the Philly special, the trick play they ran at the end of the half was really the moment. Because early in the game, he was sort of watching, and then he would go do something else, come back. He was watching that play with me, and he just was like, thought it was the funniest thing ever. He thought it was so funny that Nick Foles ran over to was pretending to talk to the guy.
It is one of those plays you would draw up on the playground, like playing with your friends.
Exactly,
like,
so Sandlot. So
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have drawn it up as well, but so that was the moment. He was super into it.
Well, the tattoo of it that I got on my ass,
The crazy thing is he's never going to know the pain of being an Eagles fan.
Yeah, like I have this video that I posted of us, like my wife took of us like celebrating when we won, and he's like, "We finally won the Super Bowl," he says in the video. And he said
finally.
And he said to me the other day,
4 years of agony.
Yeah, he's like, unbelievable. I'm like, what's unbelievable? He's like, the Eagles we finally won the Super Bowl. I always wanted to win a Super Bowl.
That's
hilarious.
No concept of the Eagles or time.
No.
Like those two. I
mean, we've had a good run. I'm a Syracuse grad, and that Syracuse basketball is my number one sport, and Syracuse has made 2 Final Fours during his lifetime. So
wow. So you're a double McNabb fan.
That's why it was always very hard. I was better when we moved off that. Like, I guess
there was a conflict.
McNabb was always so controversial in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, we had yesterday on the text chain. I brought it up.
I still defend him. I can't.
I had a lingering my lingering thought about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I had this it washed over me. I was like, now I don't have to sort of concede when I talk about Eagles past that how great McNabb was, because I can't stand him. Exactly. I couldn't stand him as a player. I thought he was the most frustrating, great player. He always disappointed me. And now in conversations, I can just talk about this year
Nick Foles.
and this team, and I never have to talk about those teams.
Yeah, and it was a good era for us, but it was just like a false blip, I guess.
Young McNabb was very exciting. People's memories at this point are of the older McNabb, where he couldn't really run as much. But
right. Well, the thing with McNabb, in college, he was in his peak running. I mean, he was as good a runner as anybody now. The Kaepernick at his prime, or anybody.
I wanted Ricky Williams.
You were one of those guys who went down there.
I was in the Dirty 30.
By the way, was it you who had a birthday party where they had a Syracuse guy show up?
John Wallace, who was the star of the Final Four team in '96. My wife.
This is how insane Cap and Weber, their whole friend group is. Like they communicated with John Wallace and got him. I think your wife was in on it too.
It was her idea. Yeah. Well, it was her idea to do something crazy. There was some, I don't know how it worked. The negotiations, there were some different ideas.
So John Wallace walks into his birthday party in like a tracksuit.
My wife definitely paid for it, so there was, which is a weird feeling. It's like hiring a stripper kind of to like.
These services exist. But I'm just saying it was just.
I knew the service because years ago I looked into hiring Bill Raftery to come to someone's party. And
amazing.
Really, because I just thought drinking with Bill Raftery would be the greatest. But,
onions!
Yeah, you got to get him in here somehow.
So this party, was it all Syracuse grads or Syracuse fans? And then
it wasn't me. The core was Syracuse people. Then I had some local friends who actually are all Knicks fans. So everyone knew John Wallace. He was the perfect guy.
He's a great crossover.
One of my friends from Long Island City, where I live, is from Toronto. I didn't realize.
So he played on the
John Wallace played on the Rock. So it was, and a lot of those guys.
He's the great.
You remember you texted me from the party?
Yeah. What did I text you?
And because I said, you were like, I'm at a 40th birthday party. John Wallace is here. And I just started, I was like, I happen to be home. I started doing a little Googling. And I think I said he played with McNabb.
Yeah.
On the basketball team. And you wrote back, great question.
Yeah. And then I went right up to him and I asked him about it. And he's like, McNabb was, I think he said McNabb was great.
Yeah. McNabb was a high school teammate of Antoine Walker. I remember that was the whole thing in basketball. Yeah. And was a good player, but Wallace. But he played like 2 years the team, and then he realized football was the money. But
so where'd you watch the game, the Super Bowl?
The actual Super Bowl I watched at home
with who?
With Teddy, my son. Because I thought about like different options. I was so stressed out about what to do. I was like, through work, through my job, which you might have touched on, I probably could have got tickets to the game, but I didn't know like the stress of like logistics of flying there, hotel. It just seemed like
the
a
whole
big
thing seemed overwhelming.
I have to admit, I didn't expect to win.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You don't want to go and lose.
Yeah, if you go to New Orleans and lose, you're in New Orleans. You can have a good time.
Minneapolis, they lose, then it's like, I can't leave the Mall of America.
0 degrees there,
exactly. I can't leave this mall.
And then you blame yourself. You're like,
I know. Yeah.
Essentially, what I was going to do is I was going to get a gift for my 15th anniversary of my job, and I had a couple ideas, and I was like, if I cash it in for this game and we lose, for years I'll be upset with it. So, and then I thought about going to Philadelphia to watch it at a friend's place because I knew what was going to happen.
I as well thought about that.
But my son really was into it, and he wanted to watch it. And my wife's like, "You should bring him." And I was like, "I know. I don't think you're understanding Philly. Win or lose, it's not the environment for a 5-year-old."
Cut to the 5-year-old hanging from a light post. He could have sliding down
that could have gone viral. That's the one I had fun with. But
eating horse shit.
So and again, I thought I think Weber was the one who said karma-wise.
Yeah,
Teddy was the move.
I think we all did it right. Yeah. Weber watched in Four Seasons Suite.
Yeah, really? Weber did. Yeah,
you and I watched together. We went
to Shorty's for cheesesteaks earlier in the day.
Yeah, you got to.
So I pregame with my kids at a bar.
I remember in 04, my friend Ben and I, we went to what was then called Carl's. It was in Murray Hill. It was like the good cheesesteak place in New York.
Still there?
We went in. It was all Eagles fans, and we ordered our cheesesteaks. And a group of guys came in full Patriots regalia, and the place went nuts, started booing them. And the owner came and like said to the guy, I was like, look, I will serve you. I will give you a free anything you want anytime when you come back, just not today.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for coming in, but here, come back and we'll take care of you.
That was the Super Bowl in 04. Yeah, I went down to Philly for that for a party, and then it was stressful when you go to a Super Bowl party, even in Philadelphia, because there was like people. We were like that game was slipping away, and there were like guys' girlfriends and stuff who were just chatting.
Well, I said when
I was like having like a panic attack.
When
that
Eagles
game.
Minnesota finished and they clinched and they were going to the Super Bowl, I said to Jamie immediately, I was like, I can't watch this game with casual fans.
Yeah,
I can't watch the Super Bowl with casual fans. It has to be Eagles fans. I'll do whatever you want. It just has to be Eagles fans. And then luckily, the next day, the Goldiches emailed with like, okay, we're doing it. And I knew I'd be in a safe environment.
Safe space.
The last time they made the Super Bowl, it happened. I was dating someone at the time. It happened to fall on her birthday. Right. And so we ended up at a party. It was sort of a compromise where it was not hardcore Eagles fans, but it was it was more of a fun Super Bowl party. My brother came. It's just sort of like give me emotional support, and they lost, and I still blame myself. So
And if you're at the party and they know you're the Eagles fan or whatever team's in the game, it's like you almost have to perform for everybody. They want to talk to you about how you're feeling. Like you have to. Everyone's watching you if they win. Like I've been on it. I've been at a party where like a guy was when the Broncos won, and I just felt like he was like a trained SEAL. Like, oh my God, how happy are you? Dude, like jump up. It's just, I didn't want to do that either, so I didn't want to go to any parties. I was invited a couple, but
yeah. The nice thing I will say was like I blocked out all the fuzz the Super Bowl. I did not pay attention at all to the commercials or the halftime.
Same.
I was just like, I'm going to just focus on the game.
Yeah, somebody asked me about the commercials, and I the only one I remembered was the Eli Odell Beckham one because it was so ridiculous. But I didn't even. People would mention other ones. I didn't even see them. Like I just like zoned
Danny
through
DeVito did something.
Yeah, I think I don't remember.
The Eminem commercial was pretty.
Let's
stand out.
Let's quickly, before we get to, you went to the parade, but before we get to that, because we're going to talk about that when we talk about your day.
Right.
If it's okay with you, I want to quickly just talk about his podcast and then also any job stuff that you want to mention.
Your podcast is remarkable. It's called Lost in America. If you've been listening to this podcast, Turner Sparks came on and told his crazy life story, basically of starting comedy in China.
Yeah, starting Mr. Softy in China first, and then comedy.
Yeah. And so the podcast, you'd say what the premise of the podcast.
So the premise is he came back to America, he got married, and the Chinese government took away his ice cream business, and he came back here to pursue comedy full time, but he's kind of clueless about American norms. He kind of skipped over his entire, he went from college to China.
Yeah, it's
so
like
he never
somebody
was
who went
an adult here.
It's like if you went to prison for 10 years and you just get out and you're thrust back into society.
Right. I think he had more sex over there, but other than that, pretty much the same thing.
With women.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But
so it's a lot of the premise was originally that I would guide him into America.
Who better?
But yeah, it sort of flipped into I don't know anything either, or in my own way of dealing with raising kids in New York City.
That's where it's a movie premise. And in doing it, we found out that I don't know. I know just as much as he did.
Yes.
And you came on to discuss wrestling.
I came on. We talked about wrestling. I caught Turner up to speed with how wrestling has changed in the last decade. But yeah, I mean, in terms of and where you record is also a pretty fun story.
Oh yeah, that's a Philly-related story too. We record at our sponsor is Ents, and they have a studio. And
Ents is an app.
Ents is an app. Yeah, sure.
Shout out to Ents.
And you were with me in the origin story here. We were at I think the Bait and Hook bar.
Do you know this story?
Do you know that bar? The Bait and Hook?
When we met.
No.
Our financier.
We were at the beginning of the Doug Peterson era. I think it was the first game last year.
So yeah, we went to the first game last season at this bar I found that has made itself an Eagles bar. It's like a Bait and Hook. It's like a seafood bar.
They just stuck an Eagles flag outside, and it works. If you just stick a flag of a team, all the fans go.
Real quick, where we take Dusty to the dog park, we pass this bar all the time, and Jamie and I noticed that they hang an Eagles flag outside of it. So I popped in right before the season started last year, and I said, "Are you guys an Eagles? You'll be showing the Eagles games?" Yeah. I was like, "How are you an Eagles bar?" He's like, "We just." Thought Philly was a close city and that we could make it our own. There was no rhyme or reason to them making it an Eagles bar, but they did nonetheless. So I was reserve a table, and everybody came out. Weber, Kaplan.
I don't know. I think Weber skipped that. He was at a brunch or something first game.
But so we're watching the first game of the Doug Peterson era, and this guy from 2 tables over comes over because Kaplan was wearing a jersey.
Jeremy Macklin.
A Jeremy Macklin number 19 jersey, right?
18, yeah.
18. And he goes, "Can I buy that jersey off you?" Right?
Yeah. He basically started off being like, "Are you in Venmo?" I was like, "What?" I was like, right. He's like, "Can I buy that? I want to buy that jersey, but I get my friends would think it's really hilarious if I was wearing an Eagles jersey, and I'd give you $500 for it, but I don't have any cash on me." And I was just like, "Is this a scam? What the hell is going on?" What
Billy on the street or something.
But, I mean, Macklin wasn't even on the team anymore at this point, so I had nothing to lose.
And the premise of, why he thought it would be funny when his friend arrived to see him wearing an Eagles jersey wasn't clear.
It wasn't explained.
When my buds show up and see me wearing this, they are going to go crazy. I'll give you $500 for this jersey.
So I said, what the hell? I traded him shirts. He was wearing this shirt with these pink lips on it. I thought maybe that was the point. He wanted to get me to wear this shirt.
They literally swapped shirts in the bar.
We won that game. I took some pictures with his crew, celebrating, and they.
Turns out.
Yeah. So then, I ended up using the money to buy a Carson Wentz jersey.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, we're at the same bar. I see the same guy, and this time he's not wearing the jersey again. So I say,
Where's your joke?
Yeah, I'm like, where's your jersey? And he's like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me. It's at her place. And I was like, well, I'll sell you this jersey. And I think you said, or Weber said, he's like, if you're going to give him that jersey, that's Carson Wentz. That's $1,000. At this point, he says, I will, but you have to sign up for Venmo because I'm one of the co-founders.
Oh. Turns out he's one of the founders of Venmo.
Wow. How did he give you the $500 the first time?
PayPal.
Oh, okay.
I had, I'm not a millennial. I never used any of these services before.
In other words, he's one of the founders of Venmo. He's doing okay.
He's doing. This is what it was like in Silicon Valley or something where they spend money on these things.
So he sells him another jersey. Cut to, and then Turner turns on his. Turner was with us, and Turner turns on his entrepreneurial skills. And cut to, this dude has like a whole studio set up in his office. And now they do their podcast.
He has a band. I know he's performing at the Knitting Room on March 17th. And he has a music space.
So you become buddies with this guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. It's a fun place to hang out. It's like that you're seeing a startup. I don't know. He has a lot of people work there. I don't know if they're going to make money.
It's like a startup office, but then there's like a music studio in there.
I need to get paid in some equity just in case. I don't know, but
incredible.
Yeah, it's very professional, though. We don't have headphones, so I'm still adjusting.
It was one of the crazier things I've witnessed of just a guy walking up and being like, I will buy that jersey off you for $500 for no reason.
It definitely sounds like a scam.
I made like $1,400 total, because I don't even count whatever I spent in the Macklin jersey, because that was such a long time ago. I spent $100 on the new Wentz jersey, $1,400 profit.
You can buy a new Wentz jersey.
We've won a Super Bowl since then. I should have. Then I started buying jerseys thinking, like, this would be a great one to sell Ikram. Like, I have like a...
Shout out to Ikram.
I have a
we got to get him on the
one.
podcast.
You guys should do that, yes.
Yeah.
What a life that guy's had.
And then quickly, so you said you've been at your job for 15 years?
I have been. I work for Robert DeNiro, actor. You've heard of him?
Bob?
Yes. Bob. Yeah, we call him Bob, yeah.
Director,
a restaurateur, film festival or tour, whatever you call that.
Yes.
So I've worked there when Weber worked about 15 years ago exactly.
That was like one of his first jobs.
Yeah, Weber worked there out of college. I moved back from LA, and I was working I had like a job in IT at a magazine, working like 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And I impulsively took an apartment in the city, and my parents were like giving me shit about that. I was the opposite of today's kids who stay at home all the time. And,
right.
So I literally as they were giving me shit, like Weber called or emailed me to be like, he had this at the time bullshit part-time job offer for me to help him move boxes or something because he can't lift. So that's how it started. I started working very part-time 15 years ago, and I just hung around. So and Weber stopped. Obviously, he's gone on to great success.
You're like my brain always does this. Who's the tight end that's been on the Eagles for all the...
Brent Selleck.
You're the Brent Selleck of Bob's office.
I was the Durham boss.
I almost went John Durham boss. That would have been funny.
But then I'm going to take a physical one day. They'll send me a ring.
But now, so you've been in Bob De Niro's office for 15 years. You've seen some shit.
I've seen some shit. Can't talk about the shit, but
sure.
But yeah, I do
I've seen The Office. It's unbelievable. That all of the pictures.
You've seen TGI Bobs, as I call it. Yeah, pictures everywhere.
A lot of flair.
Yeah, and I'm responsible for taking some of those pictures, getting them framed, developed, all that stuff. But and then we do the Tribeca Film Festival, which comes, I believe, April 17th to 30th this year, and I go to a lot of events with him for that, and that's always a fun time of year.
It's in Tribeca, right?
Well, in theory, it's in Tribeca. No, the office is in Tribeca. The film festival is all over the city at this point.
Well, you've seen Tribeca then just blow up over the last 15 years, in terms of a neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot, I guess. Yeah. I didn't pay attention 15 years ago, but
right.
But yeah, it's. I think it changed even more. Going back to when Bob is a business genius in a way. He bought that building back in the 80s, I think, and I don't even know what he paid for it. But now, own a building, it's the building where lots of great. Steven Spielberg has an office. The Weinstein Company has a whole floor. It's a great building. Yeah. It's been in the news a little.
Not anymore, but yeah.
He owns a hotel down there. So yeah, the hotel he built, the Greenwich Hotel, was just like a vacant lot.
Right. I mean,
and now it's like the hub of celebrities.
20 years ago, that neighborhood was not what it. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't even really walk around there.
Yeah. Now it's Triburbia, full on. There's Long Island City, where I'm from. It's like a minor league version of Tribeca.
Yeah.
There's
just
a lot
old converted warehouses.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids and parents. I'm constantly dealing with all on the Facebook groups, and all the people are complaining about certain kids issues that are just very
Yeah.
Very like white upper middle class issues, but like Tribeca, I feel like is like everything is times like 100 probably on there.
Is there a fun Robert De Niro story you can tell us?
Good question.
A fun Robert De Niro
or fun or an interesting story that isn't verboten? As he takes a sip of water.
Take a sip of water. Try to think what's been declassified. I didn't prepare a
no,
it's okay. We don't have to.
It's okay.
I think this I could tell you because it's been in page 6, so I'm not sharing any state secrets. But one of my main jobs at Tribeca Film Festival, I've always been the guy who I go to like an event. When he goes to any event space, I make sure he gets in and out. Like there's like a back entry. You know, like I talk to security.
You're his advanced team.
I'm the advanced team basically to like. And then I make sure, I always make sure like the bartenders have like, he likes a certain kind of martini.
Yeah.
So I always make sure they know how to make it. It's very important duty.
Right.
Sure.
He made it on with Colbert.
He did it with Colbert, and it's funny because I was at a funeral recently for a great uncle, and I'm at the afterwards like lunch thing, and this guy's just like, "You look so familiar," and we start talking, and he works for is it Mary Giuliani, the catering company in New York? They do a lot of events. You've probably been to some they've done. And he's like seen me, like I'm like the guy who like shows up with like the martini recipe at every event they do.
You have a briefcase, you open it.
So he's briefed his bartenders on the importance of listening to me, and
that's funny.
So that's what I'm known for. When I go to, I went with you the other night. I saw you guys both at the Writers Guild Awards. We went with Michael Weber, and I always feel like whenever I go to any event space I've been to before, if somebody recognizes me, they get nervous because they're like I've had this happen to me where I've just gone to events on my own and they're like, "Is Bob coming to this?" Like they get scared, like they're not prepared.
Is it a gin martini or a vodka martini?
It's a gin martini. The one it's always been Hendrix and with cucumber. I've heard from some sources that he's playing around with some new ideas. I haven't been to an event with him yet since then, so I can't. Okay. It's not official, but which is good because I'm getting kind of bored of the same martini.
I've talked about this with you. I think I like the martini in the rocks glass because it's easier to walk around with.
Oh, the martini glass is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's fine if you're at a seated dinner. But
you never look cool drinking it. Your hand has to be caught.
Well, that's why I always tell them don't fill it up all the way. And they probably think it's because he's really difficult. But I'm like, I'm going to carry this to him. I don't want to spill it all over people. So just keep it.
I like the rocks glass at a party, at a standing cocktail party. Yeah.
I'm all about cocktails in glasses that aren't.
But it's got to be glasses. I like glasses I don't own at home, and a martini glass I don't own, so it makes it feel like
you did drink a martini at the WGA Awards.
I did. That's the reason. Make them work.
None of this whatever French 75 or whatever comes in like the curved. Yeah,
it's just never going to be something I'm going to be into as a martini. There's olives, which I don't like.
Oh, I see. I like the olives. I like my dirty vodka martini. Do you have anything else before we talk about? No. Mike's day.
Let's go. I want to get into Cap's day because what a day it was.
Yeah.
Just last week.
It's still sinking in that we won the Super Bowl.
So we were just talking about it, yeah.
But yeah, so I went to the parade.
How'd you make the decision to go to the parade? Was it just?
Well, I was close to going with him.
Yeah.
And this is the lamest. I even hate saying it out loud. I had a meeting that I literally just could not miss. And I was like, so I just...
If it had happened during like a hiatus time for us, I would have gone.
Yeah.
But,
and also, I don't really I hate parades and I don't like large gatherings of people like that.
What I want to get into because neither do I, but I feel like this one may have been different.
Yeah,
that's why I was willing to go.
For me, it was like, my boss is shooting a movie right now, so it was kind of had a little wiggle room.
Well, you're here.
I'm here. I told him, and I said I was going, and I just thought it was sort of like I couldn't decide on what to do for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I just thought this was different. This is just like go or don't go.
Yeah.
Like I have to go. Like I just seemed like just do it.
Yeah.
So I sort of said in my head the whole time, if I don't go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to go to the parade. But I couldn't decide how to get there. That was the first. I didn't know, and because a lot of it I was waiting on people to decide if they
driving would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. So my brother works in South Philly, so at first he's like, you could drive. They had permission to like park in their office lot.
Yeah.
So that was an idea because I was going to buy train tickets.
But even though you had parking figured out, so many streets would have been blocked off. Yeah. Getting there would have been a hassle.
I realized that late in the game. I realized, like, what am I, like, at one point I just was like, there's no way. I looked at the map. I'm like, I don't know how I would get anywhere. I don't know Philly well.
That's a thing that I have, too, of, like, being a hardcore Eagles fan, but the Philly knowledge is very limited.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really been in Philly, like, walking around Philly since like high school. I'd go down like South Street to look for a fake ID or something. Like there was
giggle at the condom store.
Yeah, exactly.
So hats in the Belfry.
So, but by the time I really made up the decision, because first I was bought a train ticket for Wednesday, then I found the parade's Thursday, then I waited, and then it was like the train tickets got crazy expensive and sold out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I have to drive. I could find a spot, like a drop off. Then I was like, wait, there's buses.
Yeah.
Both buses sold out. Everyone was, but Chinatown bus.
Always.
The Chinatown bus had seats.
They're always
the night
ready
before,
for you.
$12. So I couldn't believe it. I'm like, is this really like? And do they know about the parade? Like,
you work down there, so like Chinatown's not that.
Well, I live in Queens, but the bus I decided to take the 7 a.m. So I had to clear with the wife, like you could get the kids to school because this is a big. Yeah. Like when you have two kids, getting them both to school is a very stressful ordeal. They don't go at the same time.
Well, and quick aside, we appreciate you being here by 10 o'clock in the morning. I know that wasn't easy to get from Long Island City to Alphabet City here.
Well, I had to. I think I was telling you I had to rearrange my. Basically, it's like I'm going to take Teddy, the older one, to school. He goes at 8 because then I can just drop him off and get going. Because my younger one, Ruby, she goes at 8:30 and is like it's not as important. It's like more like daycare.
Sure.
And she knows how to stall me, and she won't go. She wants to play. She wants to go pop. I don't get out the door until after 9. But I still was here late, by the way, because I missed the ferry. I decided to take the ferry. I missed it.
Wow. I think you're the first person who's taken a boat to be here.
I think so, yeah.
I wanted to have like a scene. Oh, you're
from the old country.
This is the type of thing with kids. It's like I would have made it, but I realized my son had forgotten his water bottle. I didn't bring it. And I just decided, like, he can't live without water for a day. They have a water fountain, I'm sure. But I ran it over to the school and then tried to run back.
You're a good dad.
Yeah.
I'm a good dad. So anyway.
Back to the Eagles.
Yeah, so I went, I made the 7 a.m., like, the 7 a.m. bus, right? Mm-hmm. The Chinatown bus, and I get on the bus, and it's, the whole bus is like, I thought it'd be like rowdy, like, drunken Philly people. It was all, like, dudes who were selling shit. Like, my whole bus is the guys going down to Philly to sell pins and shirts. That's where it comes from.
Just all Haitian dudes with, big trash bags.
Yeah, they had like Patriot stuff already made. They had to like can it, and they were gonna go. They had a ticket to Boston, and so that's my experience. But once I got off the bus, it was just, it was just magical. It's just like you walked out. It's 9 a.m. in Philadelphia, people everywhere. Like the Dunkin' Donuts line was like down the street, and it was just everyone's drunk.
Yeah,
at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Everyone's drunk or their families.
Yeah. 2 million people came, right? Or something like that?
Well, there's a big controversy because the reported number, the one report was 700,000. So everyone in Philly's like, oh, that's bullshit.
What did Spicer say?
So I know. So all the radio, like WIP, the radio stations are like, that's bull. Like they're harping on 700,000, and they're like getting experts to examine the photos, like Trump, and they're like, it was 2+ million.
Yeah. Trump's going to win re-election in Pennsylvania by just constantly saying it was 2 million. He's
or just
make jokes about it.
Doing an Eagles chant. But so you get off the bus and the city, it's just pandemonium. How do you navigate to it? Sort of, you had a home base.
Yeah, I decided to I have a couple different friend options, but I went with one who lived like right off Broad Street. Broad and Fitzwater area. His name's Steve. He wanted me to mention him.
Shout out Steve.
And Steve Che. And I went, I just started like walking. I had to use like Google Maps again because I don't know anything about Philadelphia. And you couldn't just like walk like down Broad Street because it's shut off for a parade, right?
Yeah.
So I was like stopping, like I stopped at like a dinette to like get a cheesesteak and egg. That's the thing you eat in Philadelphia for breakfast, apparently. Amazing.
Sure.
And these guys, like it was like kind of normal in there, and then some
Did you worry at all that like the bathroom might be an issue? Like I'm going to be at a parade all day. I'm eating cheesesteaks and eggs.
Yeah, well, I rallied at like 6 a.m. to first,
Okay.
Like I take you, but yeah, I was a little worried about.
You gotta ask.
Yeah, you gotta ask. Yeah, I was a little nervous about.
What were you wearing, by the way?
I was wearing just saying. So that's the thing in Philadelphia. I didn't think of it. I just wore like a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. Spent like almost missed the bus because I couldn't decide on which gloves and stuff like that. And then I get there and I'm like, everybody in Philadelphia is wearing, I don't know, like a sweatshirt, a big sweatshirt and a jersey over themselves.
Yeah.
No jacket. Like that's the Philly look.
Yeah.
Like nobody's wearing a jacket. They're all wearing maybe they're wearing underwear. I don't know.
I adopted that for the
warmth.
first time. Like that's what I wore to Mets. I wore my Eagles t-shirt over a hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah, so I stuck out, but it did work out because I ended up being like at the parade line with a bunch of people and we had all these beers and I was guy with pockets.
Nice.
So I was carrying a 12-pack with me at all times, a ski jacket.
Good.
So, yeah, so I walked, and after I made my way over. I had
Are you able to walk the streets, or are they too crowded?
You can walk the streets. It felt like it just sort of felt like a giant tailgate that just kept going. Like if you've been to like a big state school, like Michigan or Penn State or somewhere, Texas, where they're just like a field or something.
Brown,
yeah, not Syracuse, but it just keeps. But it just kept. There was more people. I don't know if there's 2 million, but I think there was more than 700,000. It just kept going and.
Schools are all closed.
Schools were closed, and I saw like schools in the suburbs that weren't closed that would have like forms where you could like you just had a parent sign a link thing. You went to Eagles Appreciation Day or something. And, so there was a lot. That was the thing. It was felt like it's a bad rap, and understandably, it was some crazy shit after we won the game. But everyone was very well behaved during the parade. Like people were really drunk, but like it was broad daylight. There was families, and there was no I didn't hear much.
Profanity
or anything,
after they won, there were some behavioral things.
Yeah, that day,
and not even too many,
night.
but that day, apparently there was like hardly anything.
Yeah, everyone was very it was like
joyous.
It was a joyous drinking day. Yeah. So there was guys like trying to get people to be more boisterous if they weren't, but there was a lot of like Broad Street's the main street. There was a lot of chanting back and forth. Like people would do the Eagles song, and then the other side would do it. It was very like high school, like pep rally.
Yeah.
Like who's going to do it louder and just keep doing it like a wave almost. So that was fun. I went all the way down Broad Street to where my friend was, and then I realized he was on the other side of me.
Yeah.
And you can't. So I was like, I got to cross. The parade didn't come by.
Oh, hey, Steve! Like from across.
I saw. Yeah. So I started to I'm experiencing this during the New York Marathon. It comes through Long Island City. I know how to cross when no one's. Yeah. So I started to climb the barricade thing, and these two guys standing there. One guy was just like, I see what you're thinking of doing there, and I'm going to tell you how the story ends. It's not going to be pretty. And apparently the police officers didn't take kindly to others who had tried earlier, so I just ended up walking about 10 blocks the other direction to find some way to go under.
Cross over.
You had to go underneath the ground, basically, come back over. But it was worth it because on that walk on the other side, I would see there was all these house parties going on almost, where people were on the roofs.
Right.
And I mean, I saw there was you just saw it was just a fun there was a fun atmosphere where all these girls would be singing these songs, guys would come by and be like, show your and then there was guys who were with those girls who just started being start doing a trust the process chant at that.
Right. Everything merges.
It's gonna happen, guys. Wait till noon. So I got there and it was good. We had a base. So you could go back, use the bathroom, grab some more beers.
That's the key in any situation like that. I feel like if you have a home base, even if it's a restaurant, that you feel comfortable.
You were outside your friend's place.
Yeah, because if you're outside in general, it's winter for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah,
I just get into a panic. I'm going to catch a cold.
Sure.
So you saw the parade come by,
all
buses?
the floats and everything.
Yeah, we saw the parade. It was. I feel like I didn't get a good Kelsey. I saw him, but I think he was on the other side of the float.
Well, I was told that they had monitors so everybody could hear.
Right. I mean, when they came by, before the speeches, the floats come by, we saw Dawkins was that was the big reaction. Everyone was like, Brian Dawkins is here. Oh my God. And of course somebody yelled out, where's McNabb? They can't leave him alone one day. But, there was a lot of, it's
people were tossing beers up to the bus.
That's what
players.
It was. They just stopped for a minute. And
Doug
people were
Peterson
tossing stuff.
caught one with one-handed.
Yeah, there was a lot of tossing back and forth and just cheer. It's really, if you just look at that moment, it's not really worth the whole thing. It's more like the day.
Sure, the collective. And then once the speeches start, are you able to hear them?
Right. So we went the second they were done, they passed us. We started to walk towards the art museum where the speeches were going to be. And I was me and my friend and some other guy, and everyone's a little drunk, so it's hard to know if our plan makes any sense.
Right.
So we get to the Parkway, which is where
leads up to the art museum.
And you see from that moment, I'm we're not going to get to the art museum. I could tell because there's big screens up here. It almost looks like a concert. There's that many people who would be at an outdoor concert.
They did the NFL draft on the Parkway on the steps, and I've done July 4th for VH1 there with the roots and stuff. And
so you know what I mean.
Philly knows that setup. It's every couple yards there's a big screen and speaker.
Exactly, and and they're just playing music at this point. And everyone's dancing and in a really good mood. And I was perfectly fine to stay there. In fact, we stopped to use the porta potties there, which was I thought I was so smart. I found a short line, but.
There was a reason. It was
short. It wasn't going. And then I just love Philly girls. They're just very different. When I'm just not in Philly very often. So Philly girls are so much different than New York girls.
Yeah.
So there was these drunk Philly girls in front of me who just
hey hon.
They were just they weren't gonna have it. They just started kicking down the porta potty's door and they didn't. And then a couple comes out, a guy and a girl, and I don't know, they were laughing. So either they were hooking up or they were doing drugs. I don't know what they were doing. Right. They were doing something in there. And everyone just starts throwing like cans at them and stuff, and it was just like real Philly.
They were just eating cheesesteak all together in a porta potty.
Yeah. So then the speeches though start, and we had the dumb drunk idea of like, let's go back to the apartment so we can like watch them but by the time we got back, we basically missed most of the speeches. We had to rewind it because it was on TV at the apartment I was at, the house I was at.
Yeah. I watched it on my laptop on csnphilly.com.
I watched it on my computer at home. I was like, I can't devote my whole day to this, so I didn't watch any of the buses, and then when the speeches started, I watched.
Yeah. I mean, you get the same experience, except you don't get like, I remember walking back and the speeches were going, and some drunk girl like basically fell on me and was like, do you think Tom Brady makes out with his kids? Because I do. Like I was like, we're still talking about that. We won. The game's over. We're gonna leave Tom Brady and his 11-year-old alone.
Yeah. And then do you hang out in Philly the rest of the day? You were saying the bars were just overflowing. Like once the parade was done and the speeches were over.
Yeah, I think the move is when we win again. Let's be honest, we're building a dynasty.
This is the new norm.
Yeah, this is the new norm. Or when the Sixers win. I got to get a hotel room because you got to like experience it. Like I ended up taking the 6:00 bus.
Yeah.
Which I found out like some of the buses, I've talked to people, I got lucky. Some of the buses, they were overbooked.
Yeah.
And people just didn't get on buses.
Which is so Philly.
So Philly. So I just don't think the Chinatown bus people knew that there even was a parade. Like, so they were just selling So I walked back, and just walking back through Philly was just like, it was just walking through like, it was like people were joking about show your tits, but like it felt like what Mardi Gras must be like. I don't know, just bars everywhere. People are out. A lot of people are out of the bars.
That's probably
drinking.
The move.
There's no open container laws.
Stay
double
overnight.
Fisting.
And just try to relive your 20s.
It was like the college I pictured in my head or something. What like thought life was like. Like it was just like you could party out in the public. The police officers were basically partying with you. And yeah, I was just so then it's just walking through that scene. And then I ended up I'm like I got to eat something. And like in my mind I was like I got to find this real Philly thing. But I ended up eating this like very artisanal fried chicken place that was just.
Happened to be open.
It was open. It was near the bus station. It was good, but
what was the bus ride back
called
like?
Kennedy Fried Chicken.
The bus ride back was like that's a great way to really sober yourself up. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I've been on many of those. Yeah, get on a bus. I still had a little bit of my flask. I was like, I think I took a few shots of it, finished it off, and then fell asleep.
What was in your flask?
Whistle Pig.
Oh, nice.
Where I had to go with something good. I'm
sure.
Like, and then I probably drank like a 12. It was crazy. Like, my body, like I couldn't do that in New York. You know, I could not. When you live,
somehow your body knows, like, okay, this is a big celebration.
Even if my wife was like, "Hey, go up party for whatever reason in New York City today," I couldn't. Like, you have two kids. I'm in the same city as my kids. Like, I can party, but I can't. Like during the day in broad daylight.
So and also, there's an adrenaline level that I think counteracts the alcohol.
Yeah, it's vacation mode. And then when you get back, like to like Penn Station, Port Authority, I mean, because it was just jarring to be among being on the subway with like just
people who just left work.
Like everyone had just left work. I was like 8:30 or something. It was like just normal.
So you get back to your apartment like what time? Like
I get back at 9:15 or so.
Are your kids asleep?
My kids, that's the key. My kids normally do not go to sleep, but the nanny was there because I guess I don't know where my wife was. But
you're like drunk. Teddy!
She got to sleep. I was supposed to record a podcast with Turner that night, but he's in China traveling around, so we only do it when he has internet that works. But I forgot. I could have given this whole story.
I love that you're continuing to do the podcast while Turner is touring China.
It's actually fun doing it on the phone. You guys have never done a podcast on the phone, I imagine, with this nice
No, we haven't.
We do it live, goddamn.
Yeah, it took some adjusting, but now I kind of like it. I feel like I'm an expert being called in.
Yeah.
To
I've done
opine
it
or whatever.
For wrestling, I've done many.
Phoners. Yeah.
You know what? Your travel back and like landing in Port Authority amongst people who've like worked all day. It reminds me of like when you go to a bachelor party in Vegas, and then if you take like the red eye home Sunday, and you get Monday morning,
and you're like New York Airport. Or
I did one with Kevin Miller, and we flew to DC and then had to take that 1 hour flight to New York. And it was all business people and me and Miller who were just completely hungover wearing like t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
And it's like all people with their briefcases and the laptops open and me and Miller like goofing off and like.
Yeah, especially when you've been with like a crew anywhere when you're like, you can say any, like you're in that vacation mode, like spring breaky almost, where you can just say anything and anything's funny and do anything. And then you come back to like real people and you're like, I gotta like watch how I behave now.
You.
Yeah.
They hate everything about you.
I'm not like a mess. I'm a good person, huh?
I would think you smelled There's probably beer spilled on you.
Yeah, I think
plus two bus rides.
Plus two Chinatown bus
threw,
rides.
I threw everything in the laundry from that day. So
I would
I'm
think
wearing
so.
a different Eagle shirt today for you guys.
Good. Yeah, you're wearing the Tecmo Bowl T-shirt.
Yeah. So it was a good and it's like when you're there, I didn't want to be super into social media or taking tons of pictures and stuff because I wanted to be in the moment for once.
Sure.
It's not about you doing things, and I don't know. It's it was just this amazing moment. I don't cry about things, but if I did, I would have been crying.
We're all dead inside.
I'm kind of dead.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to go to the parade, but I did get to meet Malcolm Jenkins, which was very exciting.
That was good. So Malcolm came on the show. You had a great picture with him.
And I think I told you this, but I was like, he's a very inspiring and a great guy. In addition to being a great player and a leader of the team, and I had 30 seconds with him, and so of course you want to be thank you for all you're doing, politically, you're such a an inspiration, but instead you're just what an amazing game. That game was so amazing, and I'm
thank you for knocking out.
That was a key play.
It ended up being a key play. So anyway, that was pretty exciting, and that was I was okay, I got my I got my cool Eagles thing. I didn't get to go to the game, didn't get to go to the parade.
Have both of you since the game and then the parade done your surfing online shopping? Shopping for Eagles stuff?
I thought about it.
I spent half a day looking for
supposedly coming. I have my parents bought me a framed Inquirer cover.
Oh, I've seen those
coming. Yeah,
when I was down there, I thought about buying stuff, even though I knew where it came from, New York. It wasn't, but I should tell the Philly people that they'd be Trump, it's not made here. But the one thing I thought I should have bought it was people made homemade flags.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, I should have bought those, but otherwise, it's I have the year to find the right items. I want to buy the Philly special shirts. I want to get a kid's one, but I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah,
for my son.
I searched for hours because all of the licensed Super Bowl stuff is really it's big,
pretty tacky,
big block letters, nothing I'd ever actually wear. I'd probably just maybe wear it to the gym. And I finally found one T-shirt of the official variety that I was all right, well, I could wear that. It's heather gray, and it's not, gross, and it still says Super Bowl champions on it. So I got that. That's coming. I got a knit hat that I bought that I thought was pretty cool. And my friend, shout out to Chad Brown, one of my wrestling buddies, out of the blue, he mailed me a Super Bowl program. He was there.
That's nice.
Cool.
And he DM'd me. He's like, "What's your address? I got something for you." And he sent me a program.
Awesome.
Which I thought was pretty awesome.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I've had the same Eagles hat since I was a kid. It's and I haven't. I've been wearing it, and I can't find it now. I'm did I lose it? It's symbolic. If I lost it, I'm in peace with it though. It's it was worth it for now. So I might have to be in for a hat, but we'll.
Yeah.
At least it is nothing that says NFC champions, all that old stuff. It's
oh my God.
It all away.
These people who buy the NFC champion merchandise it's rendered
burn
useless.
it all. Yeah, send it to Africa.
Anything else you want to bring up before
this was awesome.
Yeah, this was
Thank
awesome.
you. We're living vicariously through you.
This is great. It was a great way to extend the good feelings from post Super Bowl.
Next, let's say next year in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Next title, we're all going.
Where is the Super Bowl next year? I don't even know.
We should cue the Justin Timberlake
Is it the LA one?
We should buy tickets now. Let's buy some.
I know, right?
We should be confident.
Where is it?
Let's look it up. Do you have anything you want to plug, mention, your social?
How do we find the podcast?
I'm on Twitter. I'm Kaplan America, KPIN America. You know how to spell that.
Get it?
And I have a lot of followers. You'll see. And the podcast is Lost in America. And you can find it wherever podcasts, I believe, are found.
iTunes, it's a great podcast. Shout out to Turner.
LostInAmericaPod.com.
It's in Atlanta. It's in Atlanta next year.
Thanks.
In Atlanta, I could do that.
Good party town.
Atlanta's
Cheesecake
great.
Factory.
Yeah.
I went to a WrestleMania in Atlanta.
Done.
It's a fun city for a big event.
And
let's do it.
I'll come back next year. I'll declassify more Bob stories for you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for coming by.
Yeah, thanks a lot. This was fun.
Stay busy, everybody.
Because I'm busy. Whenever I get with her, say I'm busy. And I'm going to hit you later because I'm busy. Busy with her.